Forget Silicon Valley and the chatbots writing poetry. While the world was staring at phone screens, a new world order was activated in the silence of Asian factories. What you are about to see is not a test, it is a physical invasion. Billions of dollars and decades of strategy have converged for this exact moment. Almost no one noticed the main detail. China stopped trying to beat the United States in software to dominate the atoms of the real world. They don't just want your code, they want total control of every machine that moves on Earth. I am going to reveal right now how Beijing's metal army has already won the first phase of the greatest technological war in history. China is not playing games, and the evidence is public, though underestimated. During the 2026 Lunar New Year celebrations, hundreds of millions of households witnessed something that looked like science fiction. Humanoid robots from 4 different Chinese companies danced, performed parkour stunts, and demonstrated martial arts on the main stage of state television. At the same time, swarms of tens of thousands of drones, coordinated entirely by artificial intelligence, painted the skies of Chinese metropolises in a synchrony impossible for human pilots. This was not just entertainment for the masses, it was a demonstration of raw strength and meteoric technological capability. While the United States maintains a historic lead in software and language models, China has shifted focus to transforming AI into tangible physical systems. The goal is clear: to dominate robotaxis, autonomous delivery fleets, and factories where human presence is optional. What gives China this advantage that many experts consider terrifying? It is the lethal combination of mass manufacturing capability and absolute control of the global supply chain. To build a functional robot, you need specific components that are extremely difficult to produce at scale: high-precision LiDAR sensors, harmonic robotic gears, motion controllers, high-density batteries, and powerful actuators. Currently, China dominates the production of virtually all these items. In the LiDAR sensor market alone, Chinese companies control about 70% of global production. This infrastructure does not just lower the cost of robots, it allows for an exponentially faster cycle of innovation and implementation. It's an industrial base that the United States and Europe simply no longer possess on the same scale or speed. Real data from 2025 and early 2026 confirms this trend overwhelmingly. China is already responsible for more than 80% of all global humanoid robot installations. More than half of all industrial robots operating on the planet are on Chinese soil. Metropolises like Beijing, Wuhan, and Shanghai have been converted into living laboratories. These are specialized testing environments where thousands of robots are trained daily in real-world situations, from retail service to complex elderly care in rapidly aging societies. This ecosystem generates a massive amount of operational data that American companies cannot replicate in closed labs. It's a vicious cycle of constant improvement that threatens to leave any Western competitor permanently behind. The true strategic discovery is that China is not just manufacturing products, it is building the physical infrastructure of artificial intelligence. We are not just talking about smart algorithms, but autonomous machines operating on an industrial, social, and military scale. Although the United States still holds crucial advantages in advanced academic research, cutting-edge semiconductor design, and generative AI software, Chinese dominance in physical manufacturing creates an existential threat to Western hegemony. The robotic Cold War will not be decided by who writes the most elegant code, but who can put the largest number of operational machines on the streets, in the fields, and in the factories. China is far ahead in this regard, and the implications are profound for the global economy, the survival of the human workforce, and the defense capabilities of nations. This race for physical AI is not a prediction for the distant future. It is the brutal reality we are facing today. The integration of intelligence into physical machines means that robots will cease to be just assistants and become an entirely new and tireless workforce. The economy that dominates this technology will have the power to dictate prices, productivity, and the security of the entire international system.
While the West debates the ethics of algorithms, the East builds the hardware that will execute those algorithms in the real world. The balance of power has silently changed hands, and what we see now is just the beginning of an era where metal and mathematics converge to govern the new world order. The impact of this revolution will reach your daily life much sooner than you imagine. Whether in how your products are manufactured, how your packages arrive at your door, or how military power is exercised among nations, physical AI will be the central engine. The current trajectory indicates that global dependence on Chinese robotic infrastructure can become as deep as the current dependence on its electronic products. However, this time, the technology at the center of the supply chain has the ability to learn, adapt, and operate autonomously. The world is entering uncharted territory where supremacy is no longer measured by nuclear warheads or computer codes, but by the ability to manifest intelligence in raw matter. In this scenario of extreme competition, the United States is trying to react through strategic partnerships like Pax Silica, seeking alignment with nations like India to create alternative supply chains. However, the speed of Chinese implementation remains the biggest obstacle to any attempt of Western containment. Chinese ability to turn research into off-the-shelf hardware in a matter of months, while the West deals with regulations and prolonged ethical debates, creates a technological gap that is hard to close. The Chinese advantage in real data, obtained through millions of machines operating in its cities, feeds machine learning algorithms that become more precise every second. The question that remains for all of us is not whether robots will dominate the physical world, but under which flag, in which values they will operate. The supremacy of physical AI brings the potential to eliminate manual labor and increase global prosperity, but it also carries the risk of unprecedented mass surveillance and economic imbalances that could generate new cycles of poverty in regions that fail to keep up with automation. We are at the epicenter of a once-in-a-century transformation. The robotic Cold War has already begun. The pieces are on the board, and China's move has just put the world in check. The future is being forged now in metal and silicon in the automated factories of the East. What will be the real impact of this Chinese robotic dominance on your life and your country's economy? Is the advancement of physical AI the key to the next era of prosperity, or the beginning of a dangerous technological dependence? The debate over who will control the machines that control the world is just beginning. Leave your opinion in the comments below and join this conversation about the future that China is already building while the rest of the world is still trying to understand the rules of the game. Your vision on this shift in the balance of power is fundamental for us to understand where humanity is heading. Let's debate the consequences of this new technological order.